All right, real quick. So if you've been following along, you know my deal with vermetid snails. This tank's been was running for 2 years, roughly, and I broke the whole thing down just because of an extreme vermetid snail infestation, let's call it. They just took over the whole tank. So you can go back and watch videos of how I dealt with it and discussions about that. But in all my efforts and everything that I've done, looks like I've got them again. So my new approach is that I'm just not going to tear the tank down again. I'm just going to use my ice pick that I ordered just for this purpose, and each one that I see I'm going to crush if at all possible. So I've already crushed I think 5 of them in the tank, and I had one that I was trying to crush it and actually knocked it off, and I've got it in the kitchen on a paper towel, and I'll take you and just show you for anybody interested that wants to see better what they look like. But basically, just it almost looks like part of the rock. They're sometimes hard to spot, just depending, but you can always see the little tube sticking out. And I do have one that I think I can get you a view of. Let me zoom in here. See back there where the shrimp is, if you see that little tube sticking out off the rock there, that's a vermetid snail. And that one I don't think I can get to, but I will make an attempt to try to knock it off or bust it, but I'm not sure I can reach that one. So that's going to be the main issue, is all the ones I see I can crush, but the ones that are all inside the rocks and things, there's really nothing I can do for that. So, past attempts, I've tried a yellow chorus wrasse. I've tried, I bought for this tank 25 bumblebee snails. They didn't seem to touch them. So I've in research and all, I haven't found any other known predators for them that are reef safe. There are things out there that will eat them and are capable of cracking the shell open, but none of these options are reef safe. So in my experience, once you get vermetid snails, you can either just deal with it and kill them as you see them, or you can do a restart completely. When you do that, you'll have to do a better job than I did. I used acid inside the tank, the sump and everything. What I failed to do was use it in the drain pipes and the overhang on the back. So I have a feeling that, I probably had some in there and it's probably started the cycle over. But anyway, yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to share that definitely, I found a couple in the sump and dealt with those, and I thought maybe they had come from the drain pipes and maybe they didn't go any further. So I was really hopeful that after I killed those off that I wouldn't see any surface in the tank. But that seems to be fantasy now. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to deal with them. My primary goal is, the main fear about them, it's not, they don't do much harm other than the webs that come out of them. And it's an irritation for corals if you have corals nearby. So I guess mainly, while I'm gonna kill everyone that I see, the main fear is that, they sprout up somewhere around the corals themselves and their webs go and kind of irritate, or even I've read things, they can actually kill the corals. So other than that, a lot of people, if you had a fish only tank and you weren't worried about corals and you had them in there, they're actually just filter feeders that would probably be more beneficial than anything. But Yeah, they're the worst thing that I've dealt with, just because they multiply so quickly. They can just take over the tank. And they're just, I don't know of a way to get rid of them. I mean, most other pests that you have, there are paths for treatment or paths to get rid of them. And with these, I mean, I really don't know any. Please let me know in the comments if you have any other suggestions of how to get rid of them. It's like I said, the chorus wrasse didn't work for me. The bumblebee snails didn't work for me. I mean, I feel like putting 25 bumblebee snails in here at one time, you know, and they continued just to expand the population. I don't, you know, I never saw a bumblebee snail actually eating one. Now, I have read that they can eat them, and they have a means to get down the little tube and pretty much suck them out of there. But it's just one of those things that as long as there's any other food in the tank for the bumblebee snails, they don't care about the vermetid snails. So you'd pretty much have to starve them. And doing that, you'd probably be starving everything else. So anyway, everybody's got to, I guess, kind of figure out, you know, as far as what to do about that on their own. The yellow chorus wrasse, I don't understand why a lot of people say, oh yeah, they eat them. Well, their mouth is not strong enough or not capable of cracking the shell that they're in. They can't suck them out of the tubes. I've read a lot of forums where people have done studies on them and say that the chorus wrasse would eat them if, you know, any kind of small like snail or all kind of little things like that, if they could get to them, but they can't get to them. So I'm not sure where that comes from. I mean, I've seen several people say that they eat them, but like I said, I put one in the tank and never saw it eat the first one. And you have read a lot of stuff to go against that. You know, there was a research heavy forum with all kind of references about it, saying that the chorus wrasse eating vermetid snails is a myth. So I would tend to agree with that. But anyway, let me know in the comments, you know, if anybody has any other ideas. Let's see, I'm gonna walk right quick into the kitchen. Pardon the mess. All right, so I laid this guy out on a paper towel. So that is a vermetid snail. So if anybody, you know, if you've never dealt with them or you wonder what they look like, there are different species of them. Some of them do the little winding shell. Some of them have just kind of like a dome shell with the tube coming up. But pretty much all of them have, you know, a hard shell and then the tube where the web comes out of. The reason these guys are so difficult is some of the shells, like even with an ice pick, it's hard to bust some of them up. I mean, some of them are as hard as little rocks. The other thing is they can survive about anything. So they have kind of like a little door they'll close to the tube if you put any toxins in the water, or if they're out of water so long. I mean, they're just adapted and made to survive. So anyway, here's my preferred weapon of choice now. So I just take this sucker and just try to crush each one that I can. This one didn't crush, it just popped off the rock finally. So anyway, thanks for watching. Like I said, let me know any information you might have about them.